Side of goal! And what a goal!
What's the crack? What's the bleeding story of a few legends in the gaff tonight, of one that's going to be fucking fists up and fighting for Fury, fighting for the black and whites? I'll start it off with the usual guest I have, mate. Warren, what's the crack? How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. Thanks very much for inviting me to come on. I'm absolutely delighted to see these two new guys I've never met before, so that's absolutely fantastic.
Exactly. That's why I'm looking forward to these boys. There'll be plenty of action. Del boys in the referee's corner. We're all right. We'll break them up every now and again. Tony, I'll start with you. Welcome along, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, Del boy. How are you, mate?
All good, all good. And thanks a million for coming along. And I know you have to go, but sort of halfway through the show, and that's all good, all good. And my mate from Brooklyn, New York City. What's happening, Lolo?
What's going on, fellas? Brooklyn's in the house right here. Big up to my Stoop crew members who are in the comment section. I see y'all already. BX Gunner, Evan Macronomical, Ben Ireland. I see y'all getting ready for happy hour later tonight. But man, I don't know why you sat me down here with this guy right here next to me. You know how mad I am about this. I'm even mad. I'm mad at my hoodie because it's black and white. And now you set me next to this black and white. Oh man. I'm just kidding, Tony. I'm just kidding, okay? A little bit.
Yeah, no worries, mate. That's fine.
But thank you so much for having me on the show, man. Big up to Ireland. Ireland is actually where my brother-in-law is from, Dublin, and he made me an Arsenal fan. So that's my backstory on that. A little bit of it. But yeah, big up to him. Much love out to John Lawler today.
Fair play, Johnny. Yeah, look, I'll start off. Look, come here. It's all love in the building. Del Boy's wearing the merch. He has everything on. Hats, scarves, bands, everything. The whole bleeding lot. So love in the building tonight. Look, Friday night. We're happy days. I'll start off. Look, Lolo, do you know what? I'll start off with Tony because Tony will have to leave sort of, as he says, halfway through. He's doing the show later on, and I'll give him a shout out before we start. But Tony, sort of your take on the game. Like, what did you think Newcastle's plan was, we'll say, towards the game? Were you confident, first of all?
Well, my prediction, I mean, I was on with Luca as well on his channel, and I said 1-1. That's what my prediction was, 1-1. And I said I'd be happy if we leave Arsenal with a point. If we get the win, even better. But if we get a point's better than not having any points on the board. So I went there thinking, yeah, if we get a point, that's a great result. And, you know, I mean, after the first few minutes, I mean, Saka was all over Dan Burn, and you could see straight away that that Dan Burn was struggling against the pace of Saka. But then Willock joined in to help him out. And so we started doubling up on Saka. And and when you think also we got like Botman helping out as well, and then you got Shea helping out Trippier's side. And that allowed Trippier to go forward a bit more as well. But overall, I mean, it was a hard-fought game. Arsenal had their chances. And, I mean, yes, you can look at it and say, Arteta can look at it and say, well, look, yes, we should have had a penalty. Okay, the Dan Burn thing maybe got away with that shirt pull. But when you look at that free kick that led to that, was never a free kick in the first place. I mean, it's just fortunate Falcon getting into deliberation over free kicks. But, I mean, Joe Linton should not have been booked for that foul. I mean, it was clear to see, and I hope he gets his card rescinded because that referee was an absolute atrocious on Tuesday night. I mean, not just for Newcastle, but probably for Arsenal as well. I mean, he was an absolute liability. He was flashing cards left, right, and centre. I think he was forgetting when he booked players as well. As I've said, I don't want to ever see him in the Premier League. I don't even think he's good enough for the Championship. I think he's League One at the worst, at the best. But then I'll feel sorry for the League One teams if they've got to have him. But he was absolutely atrocious, Andy Madley. And I just thought when that came over, and I just wonder if I looked at that and thought, well, do you know what? Actually, that wasn't a free kick, so we can't really give a penalty because it would make us look bad at VAR. I mean, Dan Burn got pushed in the first half. Maybe he could have said that could have been a penalty, but it wasn't given. I mean, Joe Linton had a great chance just before half time to put that in the back of the net. But again, maybe the ball just came to him a little bit too quick and he couldn't adjust in time. Because had he scored that 1-0 at half time to Newcastle, that would have been a different game. So things might have opened up more in the second half. But I know I know that I've seen some Arsenal fans seething at us, and but I've actually seen some who have come out and said, actually, we played quite well, and we did a great job because we've stopped you one from scoring at home. Every other team's tried to do this and has been absolutely annihilated, and we haven't. But the thing with Eddie Howe is what he does is he makes his players work, and on Tuesday, I mean, Willock had to come off with a few minutes to go because he was absolutely shattered. He was on his knees because that's the type of game Eddie Howe plays with these players. He'll tell them he wants to see high-tempo football. He wants us to press. And if we lose the ball, we get back into positions. And when we set back up, we then set back up into like a 3-4-3 formation. So what you'll see is the back three. So that'll be like Dan Burn with Botman and Shea. Then you'll see Trippier and whoever's on the left, like Joe Linton. But yeah, I mean, overall, we did a job on Arsenal, and that's the thing. We got a point out of that. And we're not third top for no reason. I mean, if somebody had said to me in January last year after we lost to Cambridge, we would stay up and be third in the Premier League by the end of December, I would have laughed at them. I would have absolutely laughed at them. But it just shows you the job Eddie Howe has done as a manager. And the reason I say that is, and a lot of other managers, when they get sacked from clubs, maybe need to take a leaf out of Eddie Howe's book as well. Because Eddie Howe didn't just sit on a couch on his arse thinking, all right, okay, fair enough. I'm paid off now, so I'll just sit here and watch TV all day. Eddie Howe said no, he was going out and about. He went to Sarri at Juventus, sat on the training ground with him to see what he'd done, went with Simeone, sat with Klopp as well on the training ground. And if you watch us, we play a bit like Atletico at times, and he's got a lot of tactics from Simeone, and it's absolutely brilliant. But the one thing I did say on my show last night is I've actually earmarked one of our players out as a shithousery legend, and I'll say why that is. Because he never came on the pitch, he's an unused substitute, and that's Jamal Lascelles. Because he got a booking for stopping the throw-in being taken quickly. He done the same against Chelsea as well against Cucurella and got a yellow card for it. That is just brilliant, and even though the guy's not the greatest defender, but he's great for what he done there.
Yeah, in fairness, like, Lola, I'll bring you in there. Like, what are your thoughts on what Tony's saying?
Well, oh Jesus, I can't. Well, I put it in the comments. I can't believe I'm actually agreeing with some of the stuff that Tony's saying. But no, he's speaking a lot of truths. I had to deal with this initial just absolute anger and hatred that I had towards Newcastle immediately after the match, and I was gonna do a video, and I was like, no, I'm gonna be cursing and screaming, and I'm just gonna sound like a whiny bitch. But so no, I need to give myself a couple days, give myself some time. I got shows on Friday. I'll do it on Friday. And then, I was just really disappointed because I've been singing Newcastle's praises all season long. I've been saying Arsenal fans need to stop looking at Tottenham because Tottenham aren't our rivals. Tottenham aren't on the same level as us this season. Newcastle are. City needs to be as concerned with catching us as being caught by Newcastle. Newcastle is the only other team who's lost one match, right? City's lost two or no? I don't know. But Newcastle have only drawn more than we have. That's the only reason we're so far ahead of them is they've got more draws. They've only lost one match. So people don't score against them, but I've been so excited watching Newcastle because they're the only other team in the league that I feel like goes at it, that steps out on the pitch and goes, let's play. Y'all think you can play against us? Let's play. Come on, bring it on. and they go for it and they run and they fly down up and down the pitch and they score goals from everywhere. And then seeing what they were doing against us was like, who are you guys? You're not Burnley. You're third in the table. Like, come at us. And there were moments where you did, but it seemed like a very safe game. But then all the time wasting, the laying on the ground, every single corner kick, I knew I was standing in the bar going, watch, if we get the ball, somebody's going to fall down in the box. Happened every single time. And seeing the 5 minutes of stoppage time, the no call on this, the no call on that. I agree that the referee was absolute shit across the board, was handing out yellow cards and then went, oh shit, I can't do that. Well, that's worse than the yellow card, but I'll only give a foul for that. And that was for both teams. By the end of the match, he had no power because he had given out so many yellow cards. And you're right, Tony, he didn't remember who he gave a card to. So he was like, don't do that. And you're like, how was that a yellow card? Then he cards Almiron for standing on the line when everybody does that. Like, absolutely crazy. But I got to say, us Arsenal fans who are so mad and angry about all this, we have to come to terms with the fact that this is how teams are going to play against us. We are becoming, it is starting to rain, and I need to grab an umbrella for my laptop.
Yeah, you walk away. Yeah. Warren, I'll go to you. What was your sort of thoughts before the game? What were you confident? Did you think we were going to do it? Were you nervous? What was your thought on the game?
Well, given how the season has gone so far, I thought the game and seeing Newcastle and how they performed, I thought it was going to be tight. But I thought Arsenal would just edge it. I did. I thought, they would just edge it. But that game, for me, was a massive wake-up call, or it should be a massive wake-up call for the whole fan base, because I was quite alarmed at what I saw, to be honest. I mean, we had Zinchenko marking a fella who's looked about 3 foot taller than him.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. Our tactics clearly weren't working because Newcastle deployed their tactics perfectly and they came and they frustrated us and they could have nicked it. They could have. And I thought they played really well. And it was interesting to hear what Tony was saying about how Eddie Howe had been to watch Diego Simeone, because that performance was a Diego Simeone masterclass, in my opinion. And the fact that we didn't change anything tactically is a bit alarming, because, as Lolo just said, we're going to come up against this now on a regular basis when we play teams, particularly at home. Teams are going to come and they're going to do that because they know that we're going to struggle to break them down. So, I've got concerns about it, and Del Boy, from talking to me, I've got concerns about our manager on that level. I just don't think that tactically he's that great. I think the playing squad we've got is good, but I'm concerned about it because I've seen him do mad stuff with tactics before, like the Europa League semi-final, both legs, struggling to beat Burnley. We got a terrible record against Burnley, and now this game against Newcastle. And those 3-4 games aren't the only times when he's done mad stuff. And this is what I was saying a few weeks ago when I was saying I don't trust him. And when we get down to, if we're still in a title chase, with 2 or 3 games to go, and we need to win a game to win the title, I don't trust him not do something absolutely crazy and mess it up. So that's my thought on it.
I'll just go back to the game, and I want your opinion on this, Tony, because I just seen Craig put it in the comments just there. Was it Craig? Sorry, just about the penalties. What was your thought on the penalties? Did you think, the short pulling, and was it a penalty for you?
I mean, I think Dan Burn got away with that one. The only thing I can come up with as to why VAR didn't give that was maybe because they saw the replay of the free kick and realised it wasn't a free kick in the first place, and probably felt that when that ball's gone into the box, even though the shirt pulls happen, if they give a penalty, they're going to be criticised by, obviously not by Arsenal, because Arsenal would have been happy having the penalty, but then they've got to score it as well. But it's not the fact that they would have got the penalty, it would have been more the fact is, like, other clubs might have got on, FA might have got on to Premier League and said, look, hang on, why have you gave a penalty when that was never a free kick? So maybe maybe Stuart Atwell, but apparently under Howard Webb now, the referees have been told not to forensically look at stuff on VAR, just to look at it and then say, is that this or not? But don't go looking at it for 2 or 3 minutes. And I mean, and the other one that Arteta said was towards the end when Jacob Murphy, when I hit his arm, never a penalty, even, because the one thing is, he doesn't have his arm in an unnatural position, Murphy. All he's doing is he's trying to defend, and the ball was too close to hit him. So where is he supposed to go? So you can't give a penalty for that. I mean, I've just seen a statement there from the FA tonight that your players are being charged with what they did in the 95th minute. So I think that's with the carry on with the referee. I mean, the only thing I will say is I'm very surprised by Arteta the way he carried on that touchline the other night, because I've always liked Arteta as a manager, because I thought, well, he's learned under the best of Guardiola, because Guardiola I think is a terrific manager, and he's learned under Guardiola. And I thought the way, because obviously Arsenal fans wanted him out after we beat them at St James's Park, because we played just off the park that night.
Yeah.
And Arsenal fans wanted him out. The club kept faith. He's atop the league now. And but I just thought the way he was jumping about the touchline, the way he was getting in the ear of the fourth official all the time, and then it led to Eddie Howe losing his temper, which you don't ever see Eddie Howe do that. That's the thing. But what I think needs to happen in the future going forward in the game, because Klopp's just as bad, if not worse. And bearing in mind that game at Liverpool, we would have drew that game. That was Andre Marina's fault. We lost that game because he played extra time for no reason. Where he got the extra minute and a half on top from is still a mystery. Or else we would have drew that game and we would be unbeaten at the moment. But other than that, what I think needs to happen going forward is, if managers start getting in the ear of the fourth official, he needs to radio the referee and say, look, I've got this manager, say Arteta for instance, he's on at me all the time and he's shouting and being abusive towards me. I'm not happy with it. Can you yellow card him? The referee then can come over and say, right, there's a yellow card. Then if he carries on, he gets a red card and sent off. That's the only way you're going to stop all this behaviour on touchlines, because I thought he looked like an absolute spout brat on the sidelines. He looked like he was a child that had his sweets taken off him.
Yeah. I was getting text messages and everything like that, through the game. And especially I was getting fucking lashed over in a WhatsApp group going, Del, what the fuck is Arteta doing? He's a dickhead and he's this and he's that. And I was just there, look, I understand getting emotionally involved when the game's going on, tackles flying in and stuff like that. But as a manager, you have to keep your cool. You cannot let the moment overtake your thinking. Because if I'm a player and I'm seeing my manager on the line and he's screaming and shouting and screaming at the fourth official and stuff like that, it's sort of putting me off my game. I'm there, what's going on over there? And I'm not just saying with Arteta, I'm just saying managers overall. It's putting everyone off, and I can't stand up for him for that. You know what I mean? You'd be the exact same, Tony. I think if Eddie Howe was like that, if he was leaving his box, if he was screaming at the fourth official, nearly coming into Arteta's box, you'd be a bit not embarrassed, but you'd be a bit come on, mate, calm the fuck down. You know, I have to add in this fella here and this fella. Niall, I'll introduce you. What's the crack? You know, you're on mute there. So how are you doing, buddy? First of all,
What's the story?
All good, all good. Love the hair. By the way,
Thanks very much. I did it myself.
Good man. Buddy Q for haircuts. Yeah, here, I'll be down to you in the morning. I have a fucking head like a mop. But anyway,
No bother.
What's your thoughts on the game? What were you thinking before the game started? Were you confident? Were you nervous?
I was. It's so frustrating being, as Dallas just said there, being the only Arsenal fan in a group of mates with United fans and Liverpool fans. It's very frustrating going into a game against Newcastle, knowing that Newcastle are, one, very good defensively, and two, are always going to park the bus against a big team like Arsenal. What wrecked my head is, yes, Jesus is a big loss for Arsenal, but it just showed that we have to buy in January. There's no two ways about it. We have to buy. Whether Arsenal go out and go into like scouts and pick out kids, more kids, if they want to stay on the kids route, they have to buy in January. That's the be all and end all of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But no, I felt it, as you were saying there, Dale, I felt it was, if Arteta is blowing his lid on the sideline, your players are also going to look over and go, what the fuck is happening over there? Like, what's going on? Like, I think it's great that he's shown a bit of passion now, eventually, thank God. But I think you need to pick and choose your moments, especially when we are going to be playing against a team like Newcastle, which we know are very good on the counter. Thank God your man, I can't even pronounce his name, was on the bench. The fellow up front for Newcastle, can somebody just give me his name?
Oh, Martin, Saint fucking thing with it.
Your man with the dreadlocks. Yeah. I'm so happy. I'm so happy he was on the bench yesterday because I thought he would have gave Arsenal an awful problem, to be honest with you. But again, it goes back to the same thing again, where we have to strengthen the back, the middle, and up front. We have to get 3 out and out players, and you can go back again, and you can quote like Tony Adams, Patrick Vieira. There's no players like that now anymore within the league. There's no player ever going to be like Tony Adams. There's no player ever going to be as big and as powerful in the midfield as Patrick Vieira. And we'll never ever see another Henry, so there's no even point in doing that. But what can you do? As I said, Arsenal need the boy 100%, I think, and it's the most frustrating thing being an Arsenal fan at the minute, because yes, normally the Christmas time Arsenal go up on the roller coaster and then come straight back down the opposite side in January.
Oh Jesus! Don't say
I just
that.
hope it doesn't. I just hope it doesn't happen, and I hope that we can go and get and strengthen. And come here, I like Arteta. I don't know. I seen a different side of him on the documentary. I do like him. I like his passion. I like his stuff. But there's no point in having passion if you're not winning fucking trophies.
Yeah. Lolo, I'll go to you, mate. Right. On what Arteta was doing on the line, and what did you make of that?
So I'm actually a big fan of his passion, but I do think it goes a bit overboard, and you got to be careful. I mean, listen, if we were out there, when Klopp does it, he's got a bunch of veterans playing for him. He's got a bunch of tried and true players out there on the pitch who can let that slide. We got to remember that we've got fucking millennials out there, millennials with cash. Like, these boys already think they're the shit. They already think like we are a millimeter away from their egos getting to their heads. So it's all about keeping them grounded, keeping them level. To me, the loss against Manchester United was actually a blessing in disguise, because we taught those boys that taste of defeat. And then feeling invincible up against Southampton, those boys learned what it tastes like to feel that you have the game in your grasp and then draw. to a terrible team. And so yet again, coming up against a big side who let us have a lot of possession and we just couldn't get through it, that shows them that, hey, you're not going to walk through everybody. You take this as a loss. That being said, when he's acting a fool like that, a little bit of that is okay. But then it kind of got overboard. And then immediately when he comes out and he sounded like a kind of bit of like in my heart, I was going, yeah, you tell him those were 2 blatant penalties. You tell him. And then I'm like, you know what? No, that's for people like us to do. That's for people who let us get on YouTube and scream like that. As a manager, what you're doing is saying, yes, I'm proud of the performance. And your boys are listening to you. And they're saying like, no, we didn't lose that. We got robbed. When it's like, no. For what it's worth, calls go for us and against us all season long. You hear about teams having the rub of the green. You hear about teams, oh, they got a little lucky that one. And it does take luck to win a title. You need those good calls every now and then. And we've gotten some of them this season. But if those kids, these children, who we are putting all of this effort into watching, these children play football, if they go back into the locker room and don't take that as a loss, as a well-fought, hard-fought draw, but a dropping of points, if they take it as we were robbed, the referee should have given us this, they were begging for they don't learn anything from it and they become bitches, you know? Sorry, this is how I talk.
No, I 100% agree with you. I just want to go to Tony because Tony has to shoot off. And Tony, thanks a million for dropping by. I really do appreciate it. Can you give us a shout out to all your socials and your channel and stuff like that?
Yeah, my Twitter handle's down there. So if you want to give me a follow, I'll follow you back as well. Also, I'm on a channel called It's All Black and White TV. I've had a few Arsenal subscribers this week, so that's big up to them. Thank you very much, guys, for subscribing. And yeah, I've got to shoot now because I've got a show because we got Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow and I've got a preview on, so I'll be joined by a couple of Wednesday fans. But thank you for having me on, Del, and I know it was short and sweet, but I'll definitely be back on your channel again next time you want me on, mate.
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Thanks a million. And everyone, Tony's and all the guys that's on this, their link is in the description, so please do check them and give them a sub. It helps them along. Like, you know, Tony, thanks again. Thanks a million again, mate.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Have a good evening, guys. See you later.
All the
Take
best.
care, Tony. Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Warren,
quick question, Del. We've got a Newcastle guy who comes on our show a lot, and his name is Tony. Are all people in Newcastle named Tony?
I'll give that to Warren. You know, but yeah. So
he's
Warren,
like maybe.
Probably, yeah. Do you know what? I'm actually going to try and go over to the Newcastle Arsenal game, the away in St. James's Park, because, like, you know, I'm trying my best. I have a mate of mine who's a big Newcastle fan. I've asked him, so I'll be really putting pressure on him to get me a ticket. But the only thing is, I'll be in the home end, so I'll have to be very fucking quiet. You know what I mean? Especially with the Newcastle fans. So hopefully they won't know me or recognise me. Warren, what, you know, on the whole, like, you know, the game going off, do you think with Eddie up front, how did you think he done? Like, how did you think Martinelli done and Saka as strike force? Like, you know, was it not good enough? Were they not at their strengths?
I think Eddie was okay. I think Martinelli was okay and Saka was okay, particularly at the beginning of the game. But then we just sort of lost our way and got frustrated because we couldn't break through. And that's when the manager has to come in and play his role, you know. And then all that shenanigans on the touchline with him losing the plot and stuff like that, I just don't think it helps. Because I don't care what anyone says. If you're behaving like that and losing your rag, it means that you can't think clearly, right? So therefore, you can't analyze what you're seeing properly, and you can't, like, think clearly to make a plan about how you're going to overcome what you're facing. And then the players see it as well. And they're going to start panicking, or they're going to start getting agitated as well. And, and before you know where you are, you're going to get players booked and sent off. And if the manager doesn't as well, I mean, to be fair, I think he was lucky to not get a booking at least in the game.
Yeah.
So, but going back to the match, I thought the players, they did what they were asked of. They obviously did what was asked of them, but when the plan's not working, the players are going to start getting frustrated. So that, again, like I say, is down to the manager. He needs to be able to spot that and make, little tweaks to the tactics, which he didn't do. Like you said the other day, Del Boy, he brought on a right back to replace a right back, and that's all he did. He should have changed the formation, changed the way we play, maybe changed the personnel. He didn't do any of that. And this is now the second time this has happened. Juventus did it to us in pre-season, in a game before the return to the Premier League after the World Cup. Newcastle have done it. So their teams have got a blueprint about how to beat us. Right? I know that Newcastle didn't beat us, but that is the way to frustrate us. And we're gonna if we get into the Champions League next year, we're going to come up against this all the time when we go and face these other European sides. We will. And it worries me because I think it's going back to the manager. I don't think he's got the tactical, he hasn't got the experience to be able to work out what to do in these situations. If we had a manager like Carlo Ancelotti, he wouldn't be jumping up and down and screaming and shouting on the touchline like that. He'd be sitting there, cold as hell, calculating what needs to happen.
Yeah, but Ancelotti would have legged it 2 years ago as well. Ancelotti would have legged it 2 years ago. So it's a balance. It's like we wouldn't be here with Ancelotti. We would have a new manager probably.
Well, yeah, but that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that
I'm also arguing with Gary in my head. Sorry.
To be able to change up the tactics. Yeah. And he hasn't got the temperament to keep his calm and be able to spot what's going on. And this is the problem. This is why I didn't want the guy in the first place, because he hasn't got the experience of managing at the top level. And it's now, the chickens are now coming home to roost. I know we're at top and the rest of it, but when we come up against a well-organised, well-drilled side, we struggle. And it's happened several times, and his inability to make tactical changes that work is a problem, because he's done it on several occasions. The other night wasn't the only time this has happened. So, yeah, that's my thoughts about it, Del.
Warren, do you think he was, because it's very weird that he only made one substitution, do you think he was afraid to make a substitution to get one wrong, or
I don't know.
He just didn't have any idea?
Could be any of that, but I don't know. All I know is that he didn't. And he didn't. And to me, I don't understand why he didn't even try to change it. I mean, if he, say he switched to a back three and played with two wing backs to push, to make the midfield into a 5 or something like that, and we'd lost the game, at least he would have tried to do something. But we didn't do anything, unless he was happy to accept a point. But I don't think he was, by the way he was carrying on.
Yeah.
I can't answer that question because I don't know what's going on.
I'll tell you one fella who will know the fucking answer, and he's after entering the chat room there, and his name is Kyle Walsh Gunner from the sunny southeast of Ireland. What's the crack with you?
Big up to you all, lads. Excuse me if I cough and stuff like that. I'm dying with the flu and COVID and all the rest of it. So, but Del Boy, thanks for having me on the show, and big up to the panel. Good to see us all. And I'm going to tell you straight up, Del Boy, you know the way I am. I'm hearing nothing but fucking excuses since the Newcastle game. Penalties. Fucking jerseys being pulled off backs. All fucking bullshit. If we want to win the Premier League, in my opinion, we have to be beating Newcastle United in the Emirates Stadium. Ain't the fucking story. There's no fucking excuses there, boy. The other fucking situation is this, that they're third. Fuck off with your fucking shite. We should be going out there to have fucking Joe Linton on the pitch and to have fucking, what's his name? Joe Linton and there's some other, Longstaff, and these crowd of fucking bagels. And we're making excuses up. Are we Arsenal Football Club or are we a fucking joke? Fans, make the fuck up. Another thing. Let me get this fucking straight. The reason why Arteta didn't make substitutions the other day, not because he was afraid. Because our fucking squad is fucking shit. That's why. We have to go out and we have to buy fucking players. I'm listening to lads telling me that Eddie and Kitty did well the other day. Del Boy, cast your fucking memory back. He had a great opportunity to score, and he flopped his fucking shot.
He did
He
not.
ain't fucking good enough.
He did not. Are you fucking kidding me? He put the ball the only place he could because there were legs flying in, so he went under those legs.
He could have put it in the back of the bleeding net. That's where he could have put it.
Because you're highly mistaken.
If he shot up, there was a leg. There was a leg if he shot up.
Listen to me, pal. Any top goal scorer would score that. I was a centre forward, we said, for many, many years. That was a golden opportunity for a top striker. He wouldn't strike fucking matches. Simple as. Not fucking good enough. It's time to get fucking real, lads. We're all talking shit. We're going to win the Premier League. No, we're not. No, we're not. We haven't got the fucking manager to win us the league. And number two, we haven't got the fucking players to win us the league. Everyone needs to cop the fuck on, relax, chill the fuck out. Let's hope for top four. Because we ain't winning no Premier League. I can guarantee you that. There's only 16 games gone, lads. There's 22 more games to go. Fucking hell. And another thing, let me get this straight. We're playing fucking Spurs and Man United in our next 2 games. If we lose those 2 games, are we all going to be fucking still singing? Wake up, everybody. It's time to get fucking real. I want us to win the league, like us all. But I always say, Del Boy, I'm a realist. Oh, yes, I'm sorry for cursing there, lads. There's a child there.
You're okay.
I'm sorry there, lad.
Not at all. They hear worse in this house. It's all right. You course away. I like it. You have passion. Like, you keep it lit, bud.
And the situation is very simple, lads. I want us to win the league. But we're not going to do it under this manager, and we're not going to do it with this current squad of players, lads. You can say that I'm talking shite, all the rest of it. Come May, we see who's talking shite. That's what I have to say, that one. No more excuse, Del Boy. I said to you at the very start of this season, I ain't accepting excuses anymore. I said that to you if you look back on your videos. I ain't doing it anymore. And all I'm listening is excuse after fucking excuse over this Newcastle game. Not doing it anymore, Del Boy.
There you are, spitting facts. Lolo, I'll go back to you. I probably should have warned you about Kyle. He loves the club.
No, let's do it. No, it's finally, and I'm like, okay, let's open this up. Let's
get the sleeves up.
Let's go. No, because I agree with a lot that you're saying there, Kyle. I think you're being a little overly harsh on some people, but yeah, if you're going to win the league, like, no, with the squad that we have is not good enough. The fact that our manager cannot come up with a way to change the way this match is going because we don't have the substitutions, that to me showed he doesn't have any faith in anybody on the bench. I was sitting in there in the bar with my buddy watching it going, who's he going to put on that's going to be better than who we have out there right now? So hopefully bringing in Tomiyasu was, okay, he's going to play more of like a third center back, let Zinchenko become this new midfielder and push everybody forward. That happened for like 5 minutes, and then it went back to half-assed this and that. And to me, a lot of what Warren was saying and a lot of what Kyle was saying, it all comes together with he flips out and starts yelling at the referees and yelling at the other manager when he should take a moment, sit the fuck down, talk with your coaches and go, we've got 10 minutes to fucking figure this out. We're doing the same thing and it's not working. So we got to change something up. What do we do? What can we do? What is it that we can do? If it's not a substitution, it needs to be a tactical shift. You know what? Let's bring Eddie, put him back as CDM and put fucking Shaka as attacker. I don't know. Something. Do something. And this is where I think you're right, Kyle, that we've gotten this far in the season and everybody's talking about we're going to win the league. We're not even half fucking way, and we've already seen ineptitudes in our squad and in our manager. So relax the cocks. Let's chill for a second, realign our hopes and our dreams, which are this season top 4. If we win the league, fucking hell, brilliant. But
yeah, but you see, the teams that wins the league titles, lads, right across the fucking globe in every league title, have to come up with the answers to beat the opposition that's in front of you.
Yep.
That's why. It's like a fucking boxer getting into the ring against George Foreman. He has to figure out, how can I beat this fella? This fella's a beast. What did Muhammad Ali do? He went against the ropes. He wore him out, then he attacked. He was the champion. Arsenal against Newcastle the other night. Newcastle played the low block game. It was up to Arsenal at home to come up with an idea to beat them bastards. And we fucking failed. That's coming from the fucking manager. And he's up on the touchline screaming at the fourth official. If I was the fourth official, he wouldn't fucking scream at me because I let him up and fucking rolled out the little fucking Spaniel prick. What the captain said, fucking don't get not carried away with himself. He's freaking out there, boy, because he knows the heat is on, my friend. The heat is on.
Yeah.
Everyone make him out to be some sort of miracle worker. Not going to do it, that boy. He's not going to do it, man. I'm telling everybody. Wait till you see your mate.
Niall, I'll go to you on this. What do you think of what the two boys are saying? What should Arteta have done in the game? I have my opinion. I'll let you know, and I'll go to Warren.
Hang on, I'm talking for a minute, son. I don't know. Opinion? Jesus Christ, I don't know. I don't think getting involved the fourth official is the way to be going, to be honest with you. It screams out, I'm trying to take the attention on my team here because they haven't a clue what they're doing. That's what it sounds like to me. Like, that's what it looks like to me. It screams, oh, look at me. So nobody's looking at my team and the fact that we can't get past Newcastle. That's what it screams to me.
Yeah, like what I was thinking, and Warren, I was telling you this. When he brought Tomiyasu on, I was thinking, right, play a 3 at the back and let Zinchenko push into the midfield. Try something different. Because Eddie, Kyle, now relax, don't bleed and kill me. He done okay. You know what I mean? He done okay. He did. I thought he probably could have scored the goal. Fair enough. But that's another argument. What I'm sort of saying is, push him in. We couldn't have taken Eddie off, right? Because he was doing okay. Martinelli, Saka, you cannot take them off. They were, like, they can get a goal out of nothing. Like, you keep them on. So,
yeah, but did you notice that Martinelli was marked out of the game by 2 players every time he got the ball?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is...
But that shows me that Newcastle were afraid of Arsenal on the attack as well. If they're marking... I didn't see them do it too much now on Saka.
But see, do you know what
I thought Martinelli was marked out again by 2 all the time.
But what I would have done there is, if I'm the manager and he can play this, swap Martinelli and Saka over. The two of them can do it. They're fucking world class. It's easy. Swap them over. And next thing, the defence that was watching Martinelli are there. Fuck, what do we do? Do we have to go over there now? Or it gets confused for a few minutes. And then they're trying to sort it out. And you're pushing Zinchenko in. And then next thing, it's a whole, the Newcastle have to think about, right, what way, who's marking who, what are we doing? They're after pushing Zinchenko in. You know, and if he did have to bring someone on, Vieira, is he going to change the game? You know, I'm not sure. But I'm sort of going back to what Kyle said earlier on as well. There's nothing on the bench that will like put fear in players. And I know we have Jesus injured and stuff like that, but we are fucking toilet paper thin as a squad. We've nothing on the bench to actually worry players. If you see Man City, their bench, any one of their bench come on, you're shitting yourself as a team. You know? Warren, what do you have to sort of think? What could he have done?
Well, the problem is that you've got a manager who wants to control everything down to the minutest detail. So what that does is it's grand if it's working. When it's not working, like it wasn't the other night, you're not going to get anyone on the pitch who's going to think, right, let me try this or that, because they'll be too scared to do it, because they know that if they do something off the cuff, they're likely to get dropped and not get played again for weeks on end. Like Pepe, for example. Right? Now, Pepe, he would do off-the-cuff stuff. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. But the problem is, Arteta doesn't like it. He wants a prescribed plan. He wants to control everything down to the nth degree. Now, the problem is, as well, the other night, he couldn't come up with a plan to change the way the game was going and to tactically change it so that we could get a winning goal, right? Now, the problem with that is it comes back to an old definition which says, what is the definition of insanity? And it's what it is. It's doing the same thing over and over and over and over again in the hope it's gonna something different's gonna happen. But because that was what was happening, we weren't. I thought it was quite an easier evening for Newcastle after like the first 15, 20 minutes because their plan worked to an absolute T, and we couldn't figure out how to break it down. And for me, it all goes back to this manager. And this is why I said, like at the start, that I was shocked because I thought he'd gone past this and we were like moving forward with him. But no, it's got shades of the Europa League semi-final when we went to Villarreal and played a false nine, never having played it before. The semi-final at home when he took off Aubameyang, who was our leading goal scorer at the time, and brought on Willian, who hadn't scored for months on end. It's just... And then the other night we had Zinchenko marking a bloke who was about 3 foot taller than him. And I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, what the hell are you doing? Why you got him marking this fella? Because it's clearly him telling him to do it because of the way he controls everything. So I get really frustrated with it because if we had an elite manager, like one with a lot of experience who had something on his CV before he came here, he would be able to see what was going wrong and make changes accordingly to get it sorted out. Not be running around the dressing room with a bloody lit light bulb trying to motivate people and he's pissing people off. I mean, Cedric Soares' face in that clip says it all to me. He was standing there. I know he's not the greatest player in the world, but he was completely and utterly bamboozled by the whole thing, thinking, what the hell are you doing? And this is like a constant theme with him, making decisions and doing stuff that doesn't make any bloody sense.
Well, hold on. Lolo, I'm going to come to you literally in 2 seconds, but Niall Buddy just has to go, and then I'll come to you. So I think Arteta's light bulb is behind Niall's head, with a lot of light there, you know.
I'm trying to bleed and block it out here all the time, I am.
You're grand. I'm only messing with you. Come here. You have to go. Do you want to shout out any socials or anything like that?
I don't have any socials. I just love coming on here and talking about Arsenal and seeing Arsenal fans all over the world. That's what I like to see.
Good man.
Right, put the kids to bed and you can come at midnight. Come on to happy hour and you can talk and curse all night long. We do 7 p.m. Midnight.
Nice, big up to you, buddy.
Grab a beer.
If you have that link, will you send it on to me, please?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's in the description for everyone. It's Lola's channel is in the description, Warren's, and I'll add Kyle's as well later on. But if anyone wants to check out Lola's doing a show later on, please do check it out. It's in the description. And please do subscribe to my channel, Warren's, Lola's, and Kyle's as well. Everyone.
Will do, lads. It was nice talking to you. I'll see you after Tottenham. Hopefully we can beat the Joes. Come on, lads.
See you later, buddy. Take care.
Good luck. Talk to you after. Bye.
Lola, I'm bringing you right back in. Right.
All right. So
light bulb moment. Go for it.
Counterpoint. First of all, the light bulb moment and the drawing little terrible pictures. You got to remember, he's dealing with, like I said, he's dealing with teenagers, with millennials. They're a meme culture. They're used to looking at a photo and it has a little quote on it and they move on. So he's like, they're not going to remember any long conversation, X's and O's. They're going to remember this stick figure. They're going to remember this light bulb because they're idiots. They're children. And okay, so let me just say, what if, all right? What if Arteta's not an idiot? What if he's not inexperienced? What if what he's doing is just so out there that we can't even understand it? He's looking at this match going, all right, this match is going to be a draw. This match is going to be a draw. It's not the worst thing in the world. There's been some terrible decisions. So like a magician, he's saying, misdirection. Look over here. Don't look at my team. Look over here. Look over here. Look over here. Terrible officiating, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, what he's done is only put on one substitution. That screams that he doesn't believe in his squad. Now he's able to go back to Edu and to the Cronkies and say, you see that? If I had Mudryk, if I had João Felix, if I had Zaha or whoever else, I could have made some substitutions, but I don't have it. I would have done it if I could, but I couldn't. So maybe he's going like, he's thinking three-dimensional chess. I'm not saying he is. I'm just trying to understand why the fuck he only puts one substitution.
It's like, did you agree with what I was sort of saying there about Zinchenko even pushing him up or swapping Martinelli with Saka, swap them around?
We do that with Jesus. We do that when Jesus is there. They're all constantly switching. All of a sudden, Jesus is on the left and Martinelli's in the middle. Then he goes over to the right. Saka comes over. Jesus is back in the middle. That's what made that combination so deadly. And I think the biggest issue with Eddie is he's a central player. He's out on the wings. He's useless. He's near useless up front, but out on the wings, he's not as effective as Jesus is. Jesus has been coming in off the wing for championship squad, like for years. So I think we're definitely missing that element of it because it was like, oh, once again, here's Martinelli with a little bit of space and he's going to try and run it past 2 or 3 defenders. Launch it into a box with 7 other defenders. Like,
what would you have to say about Jez's comment there? Arteta bought most of these players. It's his squad. Great point.
They are ready for a top 4 contending year, but the squad that he has is not ready. We are above schedule. We are ahead of schedule. So those players that we have, the Fabio Vieira, Marquinhos, those types of players will be ready in a couple years. Right now, they're not ready. Right now, to break down that Newcastle side, they're not ready for that.
See, this is the problem, right? he spent £400 million. If he bought it on players that are ready to be playing now, rather than this bullshit process of buying youngsters that are going to develop in 2-3 years' time, we wouldn't be having this conversation. This is what makes me so angry, that people, I'm not saying you, Lolo, but I've seen other people trying to defend him because he's got a young squad and whatnot. He did that by his choice.
Yeah. And he got rid of the older guys.
And for me, it's just complete madness. He could have had that money and he could have gone out and bought players who were Premier League proven and ready to roll, but he didn't. And see, this is what agitates me about it, because he is just, for me, he's like a pawn in the game that the Cronkies are playing. To me, because for me, the biggest problem at the club, apart from some of our supporters, is the Cronkies. That's my personal opinion. I think they're a massive problem. I know there are other fans in the fan base who don't agree with me, but I do think they're a massive problem.
Well, do you know, like on that, Warren, like what? Let me say, I'd love to do a show again and actually talk about this, because Lolo, I don't know if you know about Cronkies, but like, you know, he's an American. I'm sure you know about his football teams and his basketball teams and all this sort of stuff. And I would like to talk to that. And I'd love to talk. We'll have a show with you and we talk about this like sometime. I'm sure we'll organise it if you're interested, like, you know. But I just want to sort of go, before I sort of wrap up, I want to sort of talk to Kyle here, and I'm going to go to every one of you about the next few games coming up. We have Spurs away. We have Man United at home. Spurs away, as this comment saying here, the Arsenal away record to Tottenham is terrible. No victories in 8 seasons. That's a joke. It's an absolute joke. We've Man United who are coming bouncing. Man United are on form. Kyle, what's your sort of take on this? The next few games, big games for Arsenal.
First of all, Del Boy, if Arteta don't get Arsenal into the top two, not top 4, top 2 this season, out. End the fucking story. Secondly, it takes a squad to win a league title. We don't have a squad that's going to win any league title. Now I'm going to move on to the next question. And that question is about Tottenham and Man United. The reason why I'm going absolutely storm mad is because we should have bet Newcastle the other night. We didn't. We drew with Newcastle the other night. To me, we dropped 2 points. Now we're facing 2 massive games, then. These games are massive. Away to Tottenham, we're a fucking joke, so we are against them. And Manchester United, 9 times out of 10, always beats us. We do. Manchester United are 9 points behind Arsenal. If they, I don't know who they're playing. If they win their game,
don't even say it. I know. Jesus.
And they beat Arsenal. Now all of a sudden they're 3 fucking points behind us.
Well, they have City next week. This is what I'm talking
about, that boy.
They have City next week.
For me, straight about us, for us to win the Premier League, we have to go beat Spurs and we have to go beat Man United. And put it. No draws, no losses. We have to get 6 points out of 6. If not, I'm telling you, we won't win the league. And let me tell you something, that boy. And people are forgetting this. It depends on what's going to happen at Everton Football Club with Lampard. They're in trouble. They're playing us as well after the Man United game. Me and you might be going to that one, that boy. We have tickets for that one. And I swear to fuck, man, there'll be murders over there.
Come here. I was just saying this the other day. I was looking at our fixtures coming up, and with like now I know we've Oxford. We're not talking about the FA Cup at the minute. We're just talking about the Premier League. So Man United, or Spurs, Man United, and I don't know who else. But on the 4th or something of February, and I was just thinking that's a whole month away. I think Lampard is gone by then. So I'm thinking they'll have probably a new manager, Sean Dyche. I think personally. He can play against Arsenal. He knows. He is the blueprint. He got it off, what you call him? Fucking Tony the old Stoke manager. Tony Pulis. He's the blueprint. He fucking got it off Tony Pulis. he will get under Arsenal's skin. He'll get under Arteta's skin. He'll get him wound up. There'll be a punching up on the line. There'll be a bleeding great fight. But this is what I'm saying. We're like, you know, I agree with you. If we're going to win the league, if people are saying we're challenging for the league, you have to win these games. It's as simple as that. You know, Warren, what's your take? And like, you know, when I'll go to Lola, then after this, and then we'll give everyone their shout out on their socials.
Spurs away, I think we can get a draw. Manchester United at home, possibly another draw. I can't see us winning them because our record at Spurs is awful. It is. It's not like it was back in the day when I had North London derbies at White Hart Lane. I don't think I've ever seen us lose at White Hart Lane when I was going. But that comment, like 8 years since we won at White Hart Lane, that's ridiculous. It's not good enough. And that is down to a succession of managers and whatnot. But Manchester United at home, that's going to be a difficult game because they're resurgent. They're on a good run. But up until Newcastle, we were on a good run. But drawing at home at against Newcastle, yeah, we should have won it. You want to win titles, you've got to win games like that. But for me, at the end of the season, if he's not won the title, he's got to go because of the amount of money that he's spent. And, you know, this is 3 years that he's been here now. And we finished eighth, and we finished fifth. If we don't finish in the top four, it's a nailed uncertainty that he has to go, right? But for me, if he doesn't win the league, he has to go because I can't see how we're ever going to win the league with him because he'll be constantly back this process and bringing in these youngsters, not buying proven players who are ready to go because I just think he knows that if he brings in players that are proven and ready to go, he has to deliver. And I think he knows in his heart of hearts that he's not capable of doing it. That's the problem. So yeah, I'm concerned about these next two games coming up after what I saw the other night, because one of them is Tottenham. They're managed by Antonio Conte. Like I said to you the other night, he comes from a country where defensive football is the culture of the country. It's been in their genes for generations after generation. They call it the Catenaccio style. And he will have no problem implementing those tactics against us at White Hart Lane and hitting on the counter. And I'm telling you, if Alan Shearer, if Harry Kane gets a chance in the box against us, we all know what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? It'll be a different story than it was the other night. So it's we've got to up our game, and he's got to up his game. And unfortunately, I'm not convinced that we're gonna get a victory in either of these games. I don't think necessarily we'll lose, but particularly the home game against United, I don't think we'll lose it. But I think that could be another draw.
Yeah, Lola, what do you think?
First of all, Tottenham suck. They always suck. And if you don't believe me, watch my rap video. It's called Tottenham Sucks. So it's out there on YouTube. And I wrote that when they were top of the league and we were like bottom of the league. And I said, no matter what, Tottenham sucks. So fuck them. I think you're exactly right in a lot of these things of the way to beat Arsenal has kind of, or the way to slow Arsenal down has kind of been shown. And us Arsenal fans already knew that. We already knew it was the Burnley style was the way to get at us. Excuse me. And Tottenham are very good at that this season. However, they don't have the defensive record that Newcastle does. They have been scored on by lesser teams, by lesser players, and they've been in these dogfights. And it's not like they were playing a different style when they got into a dogfight with, say, Leeds United, for one. They were playing their game, and Leeds United were able to get goals out of them. They happened to come back. So I think, yeah, you know what? Records are records, and this is a shitty record that we have against Tottenham. But hey, it started 8 years ago. Why not end it to, next week?
Yeah.
When this is our best time to end it. They aren't on a fantastic run. Yeah, they scored 4 goals in their last match, but that first half, they got booed by their own fans. In the first half at halftime, they were being booed by their own fans because it was horrible football. It was horrible to watch. I was at the Emirates for the North London Derby this year with Spawny Mark, who's in the comments right there. We were there. We played them off the pitch. Like, we were toying with them. And yes, it was at the Emirates, but what's the fucking difference when your squad is who it is and their squad is who it is? We know Son's not firing quite right now. We know they have no Richarlison. Maybe he'll be back. Who knows? But we can get under their skin, and we can show our quality against them. And if they're going to let us have the ball, they are easier to break down than Newcastle are. And we nearly broke Newcastle down. So I feel like we can get them, and we will get them. I see it like a 2-1. I think we'll give up a goal to Harry Kane, penalty probably, like happened at the North London Derby. But no, I think, and this is, you're absolutely right, Kyle. You need to dominate here, and you need to beat them, and you need to win the next week against Manchester United, and then keep going and beating the teams that you should beat.
Lolo, let me tell you something, my friend. We were supposed to dominate the Bastards last season to get Champions League spot. We fucking didn't have the balls to do it. So, what makes me think that we're going to do it next week?
It's a different year, different mentality. I mean? Different mentality.
Let's see.
Last year, we were punching above our weight. Last year, I said if we got Champions League, we were overperforming. If Spurs didn't get Champions League, they were underperforming because they were a better side than us. This season, we're a better side than them. So that's what's different. That's what's different. And you know what? We need to be louder than the Tottenham fans. The fans who are going to that match need to be louder than the Tottenham fans.
Exactly, 100%. It has to be on the
ball. We have
to
go out and beat them. No excuses.
No excuses. No fucking excuses. I don't want to hear about it. I was sitting there screaming, "We won the league at Shide Hard Lane. We won the league at Shide Hard Lane." And so now we need to change it to, "We won the league at whatever the fuck you call this terrible place."
You need to do a song for the Lola.
Yeah. We'll get it going.
Look, lads, thanks a million for coming on. And I really do appreciate everyone in the chat, your comments and stuff like that. Fair play to you. I just, like, the chat was going. It was on fire here tonight, and I couldn't read out, every chat. We'd be here all bleeding day. Kyle, thanks for coming on, mate. Warren and Lolo, thanks a million. Kyle, do you want to just give a shout out to your socials there before we move out?
Yeah, you can find me on Kyle Watch Gunners. That's my channel. Subscribe if you can. I haven't uploaded a video in a few months. I went through some personal issues, but I'm at the coming out on the other side, thank God. It was a struggle, and I'd like to apologise to all the people that have subscribed that I haven't been updating, but I promise you all, new year, new me. And just give me a few days. Unfortunately, I caught COVID there, so I'm isolated here on my own here for the next few days. But listen, I'll be getting there. Some I'll put up, do the Tony Adams show. That, my friend, will be happening. So you're going to see a lot more of me. Going to start trying to get a few live shows done that by both. When me and you go to the Everton game, we'll have a chit chat about that. You can show me what to do and get all you guys on my channel as well and
100%.
Have a bit of fun. But before I go, big up to you on the chat. Thanks very much for your comments. Lolo, Warren, Del Boy, legends. And thanks very much for having me on the show, Del Boy.
Fair play, mate. No problem. Warren, do you want to give a shout out to you and what you have come up on your channel?
Yeah, well, my channel's called Warren's Team Talk. And tomorrow I'm doing a show from 2:30. It's called the Match Day Live. Basically, it's a show where I follow what's going on in all the 3:00 kickoffs around the country. So it'll be based around the FA Cup tomorrow because it's FA Cup third round day, which, as we all know, is a very special day in English football. So we'll be doing that and having some banter and some laughs and all the rest of it like we usually do. It's great fun. So if you fancy joining in, just come and join in. It's great fun. I'm also putting together a review of the year. I wanted to make it about all sports, but it's just getting out of hand and I'm not going to be able to do it. But then in a few weeks, when the transfer window closes, I want to do a review of the transfer window, like a part 2 of what I did the other week when I looked at the season so far and went on a bit of a rant. Yeah, that would be quite interesting. Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram as well, and I'm on Twitter, but I don't really use it that much, the Twitter, to be honest. I find it a bit crazy and a bit poisonous, to be frank. So yeah, that's me. So come and check me out.
Fair play, Warren. And on the Stoop with Lola, what's the story?
Right. Well, we do shows every week. We do 3 shows a week. We do a weekend recap video. We just released our weekend recap video today because there were week matches, not weekend. And then we do our weekend watch list show where we pick 3 matches that we think the neutral fan should be paying attention to and why. Usually top tier and then relegation style. And then we do every Friday night, we do Premier League happy hour, 7 p.m. East Coast time. That's midnight in the UK time, whatever time that is. And Macronomical's always there. A lot of these guys in the comment section, Gary, BX Gunner was in here. We have people from all different clubs, and we just drink a bunch of beer, talk a bunch of shit, and banter each other as much as possible. Sometimes we do some trivia, things like that. And then in the comment section, they know they can veer our conversations any which way. So sometimes we go from football to like movies and stuff, or they know they can mess with us. Thank you so much, Craig. We'll see you tonight, hopefully. And if any of you guys ever want to be on happy hour, just send me a shout, or Del Boy can get in touch with me on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and I'll send you guys the link. I'll send you the StreamYard link today, Del Boy, if you want to give it over to the guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to subscribe to your channel there now as soon as this is finished there, man. All right.
All right, man. All right. Well, thank you. We'd love to have you on. I love your rant so far. So
yeah, and here, Lolo, that's Kyle when he's sick. So wait till he's fighting.
I know. I'm excited.
Very passionate. Very passionate.
Yeah. Look, this is why we love the club. This is why we love football. You know what I mean? And I want to say thanks a million again to everyone who has come on, and really do appreciate even Tony, the Newcastle fan, and all. It's not easy coming on a show when you're the only fan from say Arsenal or something like that. Trust me, I've been there. I've done that. I've had a few battles here and there. But look, this is what it's all about. We all love football. Thanks again to everyone in the comments and stuff like that. And please do subscribe to Warren, Lolo, and Kyle as well, and everyone else who was on the show. Really do appreciate it. It helps us all, and hit an L like and drop a comment in. Fair play to everyone. Thanks a million for watching the show, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a good Friday. Enjoy the weekend. Take care, and God bless you all.